We all thought VAR would save football. We were promised that the days of cheating, blind referees, and stolen victories were finally over. Technology was supposed to make the beautiful game perfectly fair. But the 2026 World Cup has just proven us all completely wrong. What Lionel Messi did against Algeria is sparking one of the biggest scandals in modern sports history. A brutal foul, a clear red card in any league in the world, and somehow the referee just let it happen. Even the guys in the VAR room stayed silent. Are the rules different for certain players? Is the tournament rigged? We will break down that absolute disaster at number one. But before we do, we need to look back. Because referees ruining the World Cup is a tradition as old as the tournament itself. Grab your red cards, because things are about to get ugly. Here are the top 10 most scandalous, infuriating, and outright rigged referee decisions in World Cup history. Number 10, England versus Germany.
The round of 16, Frank Lampard hits an absolute rocket from the edge of the box. The ball hits the underside of the crossbar and bounces clearly behind the goal line. And I don't mean it was close, it was half a metre inside the net. You could see it from the top row of the stadium. The English players start celebrating, but the referee, Jorge Larionda, he just looks around, completely clueless, and waves play on. England was robbed of an equaliser, completely killing their momentum, and they eventually got knocked out. This single blind moment forced FIFA to finally invent goal line technology. But trust me, the referees in 2010 were both getting started. Number 9, the 2010 World Cup final, Spain versus the Netherlands. The biggest stage in world football. You are supposed to play your best game, but Nigel de Jong decided to turn it into a UFC title fight. Spain's Xabi Alonso is waiting for the ball to drop, completely exposed.
Out of nowhere, de Jong flies through the air and lands his studs directly into Alonso's chest. It was a brutal, bone-crushing karate kick. In any normal situation, that is a straight red card and maybe a call to the police. The referee, Howard Webb, stands right there. He has a perfect view. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a yellow card. Just a warning. Xabi Alonso is fighting for his life on the grass, and de Jong stays on the pitch. Unbelievable. Number 8, Brazil versus Turkey. If the last foul was about brutality, this one is about pure Hollywood acting. Brazilian legend Rivaldo is waiting to take a corner kick. A Turkish player kicks the ball towards him. The ball bounces gently and hits Rivaldo right on the knee. What happens next is comedy gold. Rivaldo immediately collapses to the ground, screaming in agony, clutching his face. His face! The ball never even touched his head. But the referee completely buys this terrible acting performance. He runs over and gives the Turkish player a red card. Oscar-worthy acting, but an absolutely disgraceful refereeing decision. Number 7, the 2006 World Cup, Croatia against Australia. Referee Graham Poll makes World Cup history, but for all the wrong reasons. A referee has one main job, count to 2. 2 yellow cards equal 1 red card. Simple, right? Not for this guy. He gives Croatian defender Josip Šimunić a yellow card for a foul. Later in the game, Šimunić commits another hard foul. The referee shows him a second yellow card. The Australian players wait for him to be sent off, but nothing happens. The referee puts the card back in his pocket and forgets to show the red. Šimunić literally keeps playing for the rest of the game until he gets a third yellow card after the final whistle. Basic math completely left the chat. Number 6, Brazil 2014. The host nation is in the quarterfinals against Colombia. Neymar is the golden boy, carrying the hopes of 200 million Brazilians on his shoulders. Late in the game, the ball is in the air. Neymar goes to control it, but Colombia's Juan Camilo Zúñiga flies in from behind. He drives his knee with full force directly into Neymar's lower spine. Neymar collapses, crying in absolute agony. He literally fractured a vertebra. His World Cup was over in a split second. And what did the referee do? He didn't even stop the play to give a foul. No red card. Nothing. A career-threatening tackle on the tournament's biggest star, completely ignored by the officials. Number 5. The absolute robbery of Italy in 2002. If you ask any Italian fan about the name Byron Moreno, they will start cursing. South Korea was the host nation, and the referees seemed determined to keep them in the tournament at all costs. During the match, Italy scored a perfectly clean golden goal. Moreno canceled it for offside, even though replays showed it was totally legal.
But the absolute worst part? Italian star Francesco Totti was clearly tripped inside the penalty box. Everyone waited for the penalty whistle. Instead, Moreno runs over and gives Totti a second yellow card for diving. He sends him off. Italy was eliminated in what is widely considered one of the most rigged matches in World Cup history. Number 4. France versus West Germany. French defender Patrick Battiston is running towards the goal with the ball. German goalkeeper Harald Schumacher realizes he is too late. So, he ignores the ball entirely, jumps into the air, twists his body, and smashes his hip directly into Battiston's face at full speed. The impact was sickening. Battiston lost 2 teeth, slipped into a coma on the pitch, and broke 3 ribs. It was an assault. The referee saw everything perfectly. His decision? He gave a goal kick to Germany. No foul, no yellow card, not even a warning.
Battiston was carried off on a stretcher with an oxygen mask, while Schumacher just chewed his gum waiting to restart the game.
Number 3. Argentina versus England. The most famous cheating moment in sports history. Diego Maradona's hand of God. The ball goes up into the air inside the penalty box. England's tall goalkeeper Peter Shilton comes out to punch it. Maradona, who is much shorter, jumps up with him. Knowing he can't win the header, Maradona literally extends his left arm and punches the football over the goalkeeper and into the net. Every single English player saw it. Half the stadium saw it. It was so obvious. The English players swarm the referee, begging him to open his eyes, but the referee just points to the center circle and gives the goal. Maradona later said it was scored a little with the head of Maradona and a little with the hand of God. English fans just call it the hand of a cheat. Number 2. We are back in 2002.
Just days after the referee destroyed Italy, another referee was sent in to destroy Spain. Spain played South Korea in the quarterfinals. Spain scored 2 completely legal goals, and the referee canceled both of them. In the most scandalous moment, a Spanish player crossed the ball and Fernando Morientes headed it into the net. The referee blew his whistle and said the ball had crossed the baseline before the cross. Replays showed the ball was not even close to being out of bounds. It was entirely inside the pitch. The linesman just made it up. Spain was sent home in tears, and the entire world realized that the 2002 World Cup refereeing was deeply, deeply broken. And now? Number 1. You would think that in 2026, with 4K cameras on every blade of grass, chips inside the footballs, and a room full of referees watching screens, scandals like this would be impossible. But you would be wrong. Argentina versus Algeria. The match is tense.
Lionel Messi, the greatest player of all time, loses his temper for a split second. In a moment of pure frustration, he steps directly onto the foot of the Algerian player with his studded boots. Let's be clear about the rules of football. Stepping on an opponent with your studs is dangerous play. It is a mandatory foul, and in 99% of cases, it is a straight red card. It doesn't matter if your name is Lionel Messi or if you play for a local pub team. A foul is a foul. The Algerian player goes down in agony. The fans are screaming. The entire stadium waits for the whistle. And the referee? He just stands there, spreads his arms, and yells, "Play on. No foul." But wait, we have VAR, right? The video assistant referee is supposed to stop the game for clear and obvious errors. They have every angle. They saw the studs hit the foot. But the VAR room stayed completely silent. They refused to intervene. Why?
Because nobody wants to be the referee who sends off Lionel Messi at his final World Cup. Are the officials scared of the backlash? When the rules stop applying to the biggest stars, the sport loses its meaning. This wasn't just a referee making a mistake. This was a billion-dollar system choosing to look the other way. But I want to know what you think. Was the referee just blind? Or is the tournament actively protecting its biggest superstar to keep the ratings high? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one. Hit the like button if you think VAR is broken, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our tactical breakdown of the next match. See you on the pitch!